Hi everyone, Simon from Horoma Studio. Today we're going to have a look at this new teardown for residential rendering. So let's get started with, as last time, I'll do it a bit freestyle, so I might jump back from like one topic to another, but hopefully I'll cover everything. So when it comes to composition, the overall image is quite nice, I think. There's like, even though there's quite a bit of what's the word, of like deformation, it's actually fine because we can still see that the building is quite long, so it's fine. We might be in like a 20 or maybe even 18 millimeter focal length here, I guess, but it's decent and it doesn't matter too much. In terms of negative space, I think we have like enough here with the negative space here, so I think it's fine. The little tree part here is okay, I think, because it helps in like reshaping the way we look at the image. One thing I think that could be interesting is that this seems slightly flat, so maybe it would have been interesting to actually have a little bit of shadow here so that you look at this part here. But this is like, yeah, small detail. In terms of modeling, we can see that the overall model is quite nice, and there are many details that are quite interesting in terms of like storytelling. You have like interesting lighting here, etc. I think one thing that I'm not really convinced with, we'll talk about the colors later, but is this part where the reflection is extremely strong, which is coming from that building here, I guess. And the thing is, like, whereas here we can read like really nicely the details inside, here we are completely losing the legibility of the space. And the thing is, like, since this is a white thing, it actually catches the eye quite a lot, which means like as soon as you're looking at the inside of the building, or not even the inside of the building, but like the glazing in general, you have this that catches your eyes. So what I would do is to actually just use your refraction and reflection pass and try to have something that is slightly more transparent, even though you'll lose a little bit of realism because with the Fresnel effect, this should be reflecting more than this. But the thing is, this is way too reflective, or like it's not reflecting something interesting. The other way you could do it is that if you have a sort of tree here, it means that you could potentially have like a whole row of tree on the right here and potentially have trees reflected here. But the idea is just to avoid this white thing. That is quite uninteresting. In terms there, I don't know, there was like just really on an off-topic thing, there is like seem to be issues here with the way the furniture were placed, because what am I doing with this? Sorry. With we can see that the foot or the feet of each are like inside the floor, which is, well, shouldn't be an issue because maybe this hedge here is supposed to be continuing, I don't know. But this is just a tiny detail that caught my eyes. I really like this space with like the warm colors against the colder color here. I think it is working quite well here as well because it helps in reading the chairs here. So this is nice. Here again on this part, I think it's quite fun to have it lit from behind, but I think it's gonna work well again because of this. Another thing, I think the vegetation in general is quite nice. I'm really not convinced by these things because if you look at the one thing that is quite annoying is if you look at the hue, you can see that you have like blue, green, blue, and basically the orange of the warm color inside for the artificial light, and the green here and orange, and then you have these hue that you can't see anywhere else. And the thing is that if you look at this image like that, you'll be like, the eye tends to be what's the word, like drawn, or like the first thing you look at is the brightest spot, or the most saturated, or the most like the thing that contrasts the most. So here you have like a lot of contrast in terms of hue, saturation, and saturation, because if you look at the saturation as well, you can see that this is quite saturated. There have been desaturated, I think. I actually did that. Anyway, so the thing is, and they also, like, just in terms of placement, I think they're not really, or placing, whatever, they're not really at the best part. What I would have done maybe is to get rid of these, if you want to have like softer seatings, is to get rid of these and put these here, and maybe use like more neutral colors, like this sort of a grayish thing that you have here, which I think makes more sense with the overall color palette that you have here. Otherwise, if you really want to keep these, I would use definitely no purple, not this, not this. I would stay in like, yeah, maybe this one could work because we have this sort of thing, but this and this are not working. Especially purple. It's like a really weird color because it's a really rare color, except in like some flowers. It's something that you don't really see that much in nature. So it's something you always get drawn to if you put this color in an image. What else can we talk about here? Really, in terms of texturing, and the textures are, I think, quite nice. You can see, yeah, well, you can see that there's, no, I'm not thinking, it's not tiling. No, my bad. Or is it? No, it's not. So yeah, no, the texturing is quite nice. I really like we can really feel the texture of the wall, which is quite really good. And in terms of modeling as well, it's like really good. Here, this is actually a bit weird. I don't know what's reflected. One thing that could be fun regarding the glazing, which is slightly bluish for some reason, but it's fine because, well, we have the sky reflected. One thing that could be interesting to do when you look at these sort of thing is that you know that the glazing is never perfectly flat. So since we're on like small panels, we're not like on a skyscraper or whatever, you can still have like a small bulge. So like having a bump map, and be really, what's the word, like careful to use like different bump maps for each panels, so that basically the reflection, instead of doing like a distortion like that, if it does something like this and then like this or whatever, so that it goes in different direction. And another thing that could be fun to do is to either model it, or so you can model the thing and have like a thickness in the glazing. Or what you can do is double your reflection pass and slightly offset it, so that you have this sort of effect that you get in double glazing. That is sorry, that is quite nice, especially for like this sort of let's say like high-end residential building that are going to have like nice materials. So this would be nice. One last thing, or maybe I will have other ideas in the meantime, but regarding the landscaping, this, I think there are a little bit too many colors in different types of shrubs, which is a little bit too dense in terms of details, not in the sense that there are like nice details, but in the sense that there are like too many informations in an area that is not interesting. So you could either, as I said earlier, have shadows that sort of make them be like slightly bluish, and that sort of counteract on the different shades that you have, or different hues. Or you can just select fewer models, or you can like homogenize the color. But there's something to do here, I think, so that you don't have that many colors. And Beside that, the lighting itself is really nice. I think this is the sort of things that are quite nice when you start playing with the light, so it is nice. In terms of contrast, again, I think it's good. It might lack a slight amount of contrast, but that's not even sure. Whoops. What am I doing? Yeah, it's really nothing. So I guess we're around 10 minutes. Yep, I'll stop here. I hope there's like enough information for you to take IDs from, and yep, I'll see you in the next Teardown. Cheers, guys.